We want the glasses on or off?
All right, Mr. Ray Gelato, how you doing this morning?
Doing very, very well. Yeah, very happy with everything in this amazing place, man. It's incredible. Umbria Jazz is best in the world, in my opinion.
Absolutely. So where are you from, and how did you end up playing the type of music that you do?
Well, I'm from London, and when I was growing up, let's say the '70s and '80s, as a young guy, London was a vibrant place for music. Really many clubs you could play, clubs, pubs, bars, and there's a lot of bands. So I used to go out and see a lot of bands. Rock and roll bands, rhythm and blues bands. Not swing. There was nothing like that. And but I really got my love of music from my dad's records. He's a U.S. serviceman that came over to the United Kingdom in the '50s, and he had great records. I mean, he had Bill Haley and the Comets, Sammy Davis, Fats
Mm.
Domino, and he was a music lover, so he played this music, and it just sort of grabbed me. So I got into swing and jazz via that sort of '50s route.
Okay.
I loved all the '50s image, the ducktail and all this sort of
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I was that kind of guy when I was about 13, 14 in a leather jacket, kind of
Amazing.
rocking kind of guy.
Yeah.
And so that really got me into the music, because the similarities are more than the differences, if you know what I mean.
Yes. Oh, of course. Your name, Ray Gelato. Where does that come
Well,
from?
it's fake, because
But it's great.
yeah, everybody asked me, and what happened was, the old man was from New Jersey, so his father was Scotch Irish. So my real name's Owen, so it's a Scotch Irish
Yeah.
name. But and the mother was my dad's mother's family were from near Salerno,
Oh, okay.
So where he grew up was very Italian community. So
Yeah,
my dad
my
was mixed.
my great grandparents are from
There you
Salerno.
go. So
Yeah.
probably related, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, my
my
brownie.
old man never really felt Italian because when the war broke out, they were saying, you're Americans, you're that's what you
Sure.
are, and so he didn't really carry much of that culture with him, But he, everybody always said I looked Italian. When I was young, I had very thick black hair and I had the ducktail,
Yeah.
and quite dark skin, and when I go there now, I look Southern Italian. People always
Yeah.
tell me, "Oh, Ray, you look like you're from here." All the bartenders look like
Yeah.
me.
If you went to New York, I'm sure people would say like that guy looks like he's got a guy.
Yeah,
You're
yeah,
like, I
yeah.
got a guy.
I've had it. I've had it in Philadelphia. But the name Gelato, so everyone thought I was Italian. I was quite well built and a bit of macho guy. And we were working with you were talking about gypsy jazz earlier. We had a band called it started off as a street band. And I asked these guys if I could sit in, a guitar player and double bass player. And they says, yeah. And we gradually got more and more interest. And we become a band called the Chevalier Brothers, which is we started playing swing,
Wow.
And the guitar player was a crazy guy. He's a Frenchman. He called himself Maurice Chevalier, and he gave everybody a different name in the band. And he played like Django, but he was into Charlie Christian,
Okay.
and he was the guy that taught me a lot because I'd say he was a genius,
Yeah.
incredible, and much far advanced of me. But he heard something in me that he liked anyway. So the band is getting a lot of interest in a place called Camden, which is where Amy Winehouse was hanging out all the time. But in those days, it was very vibrant musically, and we were jamming in on the street, every week. And the music papers came down. One of the top music papers called the New Musical Express in London, and they said that saxophone player with the muscles. What's his name? And I was off to get a hamburger somewhere. Is it a break? And the guitar player didn't know my last name. He knew me as Raymondo. He used to call me Raymondo, not Ray,
Raymond.
but Raymondo.
Yeah.
And he seriously looked at an ice cream stand and says, "It's Ray Gelato." And this damn newspaper printed it with two T's, which I don't spell it like that anymore.
Gelato.
And it's stuck ever since. And it hasn't really been a curse. It's kind of been a blessing, but it's bullshit, really. And we stuck to it, and people started printing that name, and that's how it worked. And he called it, he was like, just as a joke. And then the newspaper printed. He never thought they'd print it. I says, "You bastard!" When they printed it, I said, "What are you doing? Making me a joke." And he says, "No, no." He goes, "People remember that," and he was right.
Well, look at you now. Now you're a great star with the
Yeah.
name. That's
Well,
that's
everybody
amazing.
has an artist name. I mean, Dean Martin's name was Dino Crocetti, which is how can I put it? A lot of artists have names, and I thought, well, I'll embrace it rather than fight against it.
Right. Yeah. Even like Bob Dylan wasn't Bob Dylan. He was Robert Zimmerman, I
Yeah,
think. Yeah.
absolutely. Absolutely. And I'll tell you what, Gelato's better than Irwin, and I'm definitely not Scotch Irish, even though I have got that blood in me.
That's great. What do you like most about performing in Italy?
Well, there's a lot of things. I love the food out here, but it's not good to eat too soon before you play, of course. But I think the people are great, man. I mean, they've embraced me for 30 years here, maybe more, and they love it. You know, they love the music. They love I think they like the people like that follow me. They like the directness of our music. You know, it's communicating. So
Yeah.
I think that's it, really. There's a lot of factors being here. It's just a wonderful place. You
Yeah.
know, fantastic country.
And we were talking before, when you guys see Ray live, which you should, you just play with so much energy, and it's like, especially here, it's whatever, 36 degrees, 92
It's
Fahrenheit.
damn
It's
hot.
hot. It's hot, and on
Yeah.
stage, you just have so much energy. Where does that come from? How do you maintain that every day, 2 times a
Yeah.
day?
Well, with that heat, you know, you sometimes I think I'm not sure. I'll go on the stage and I'll take it really easy, and I'll just stand there and conserve it. And then when the music hits me, that's where the energy comes from.
Mm.
You know, it comes from the guys in the band. It comes from the audience. It comes from the spirit of the music. You know, and I'm a believer that, and this isn't putting anybody down at all, but you're either a high energy performer or you're not. You know, you might be a low energy performer. You can still be great like that, like an introverted performer,
Mm.
like a Miles Davis or
Sure.
something. Perfectly fine. I believe, you know, the critics get all this wrong because they say, oh well, Miles was this, and then they didn't like the guys who like Louis Armstrong or Louis Prima that were going, or Louis
To
Jordan that were doing all this, and this is bullshit. The thing is, you perform how you are. You know, and if you're an energetic person, that's you know, I think you just perform to your personality. You know, Louis Armstrong couldn't do anything different to the way he did it. He performed that way, and I'm not putting myself in the category of him in a million years, but I'm the same thing. I believe the music. You know, that's the way I like to present it.
Yeah,
You know,
he was being his full self
yeah,
on stage,
and
and
I
so
am
were
too.
you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, it's an extension of yourself. It's like that movie, The Mask. You know, you're kind of like, you know, more introverted off the stage, of course, but then on the stage you're a character. My problem can be is that people believe that I am that character off the stage, and sometimes it can get a nuisance because, you know, if I don't know someone they're talking, they expect me to be entertaining them all the time, and I'm
You
not like that.
can't do that all the time.
No, but there are certain people who want that kind of thing, and they kind of suck you dry a little bit. You know?
Yeah.
But I'll always perform with energy. I like, man. I saw Lionel Hampton when he was nearly 85 or nearly 90, and Cab Calloway when he was an older guy, and they still had that energy,
Mm.
even though they couldn't do the same things. Maybe that energy comes from within you. You
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. All right. Some controversial opinions. First one, Dean or Frank?
Well, you know, they were completely different animals, but vocally, Frank in a million years. But yeah, I mean, I'd listen to Frank over Dean Martin.
Yeah.
I love Dean Martin, but I listen to Frank over Dean any day. I'd watch Dean Martin maybe because he made me laugh. You
Yeah,
know?
he was a funny guy, and he was like the stage drunk, but not a real drunk.
No, so they said. I mean, I never saw him. The guy that does some arrangements for us was Dean Martin's musical director when he came to
Oh, wow.
London. A guy called Peter Tommaso. He's a dear friend of ours, and he writes quite a lot of our arrangements. And he said Dean was a lovely guy, you know. But he played in London. I never, unfortunately, didn't see Dean. I saw Frank.
Where'd you see Frank?
I saw Frank in the Docklands Arena in London in 1992 or 93, and he was incredible. At that time, people told me that you could catch him and he might be off one night, and the night I caught him, he was on.
He was on.
Oh, you know.
Wow.
Shut
Amazing.
my eyes, and there was and then I realized when I saw him, I realized that's why he was who he was, because he was like, he had this aura about him and this magic coming off his body. You know, it's incredible.
Wow.
I'll never forget it.
So you've obviously performed a lot in the UK where you're from, and in Europe, and as well in the US. You've been to New York. I think you played at Carnegie Hall, right?
Yeah, we played Carnegie Hall in the 90s. It was for an Italian TV show. Let me think the name. I think it was called Napoli del Mondo, you know, Naples of the world. And I'm sure the people running it were, you know, a little, I don't really want to say, but I can say now because it's many years. I think they were kind of mobbed up guys, you know, from New York that were organizing.
Sure.
And they're very nice to us, but you wouldn't mess with them. You know?
Yeah.
And I played Birdland in New York.
Oh, wow.
That was just before the pandemic. Played Birdland, and I played the Blue Note many times in New York, and I played the Lincoln Center as well.
Oh, wow.
A couple of times, Midsummer Night's Swing, and we always use. I usually take our piano player that you saw, Gunther, the great piano player from Austria, and we use an American band. But since COVID, I've not been able to get back there because things have changed a bit.
Sure.
But hopefully, I will. You know,
Yeah,
I love the
so too.
States.
Since you've spent time in New York and obviously London, where you're from, where's the better pizza, London or New York?
You know what? It's difficult to say because as much as I love pizza, I can't eat it much because it doesn't necessarily agree with me. But I tell you what, I'd have to say New York.
New York.
I'd have to say New York. But you know what? London, we're catching up because right. The example is 2 streets from me. There's 3 Napolitan pizza places opened up. One guy comes from Naples. He came to England to work. He's a friend of mine. And my daughter and I had a pizza there the other day, and it was one of the best we've ever had.
Oh
As
yeah.
good as anything. So, but I would say New York, really.
Yeah.
I even like the slices on the corner.
Oh, I
You
love
know,
those.
Ray's
The
and-
utilities. You have Ray's Pizza.
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah,
famous
they're
one.
cheesy and they're no. I love the pizzas there. Yeah.
Yeah, and you speak a little bit of Italian, right? Did you study it?
Well, not really. I mean, I picked up a little bit here. Really, my Italian's disgraceful the time I've been coming here because I go home and I forget about it. But it gets better when I'm here. If I
course.
lived here, I would be okay. And I really need to get my ass in gear to study when I get home. I found some courses on Spotify that are free that are incredible.
Yeah.
Speaking courses. So I do try a little bit, but I should be a lot better. You know.
Yeah, you and me both. If you had to pick the music of one artist, they said, Ray, you can only play music of this one artist for the rest of your life. Who would that be?
You know, it's a pretty easy one, and it sounds a strange choice. It's a tenor saxophone player called Illinois Jacquet, who was one of my favorite players from the 40s. He played with Count Basie, Lionel Hampton,
Okay.
Cab Calloway, and then he was a big tenor sax star in his own right. And I'd listen to him
Yeah.
because I love his ballad playing. I love his up-tempo stuff. But when they pin to me one artist, it's possible, really, because I got so many people I love from a very diverse range of music.
Yeah,
You know.
absolutely.
But Illinois would be, if I had to go on a desert island with no records, I'd take his albums with me because it's a mixture of romanticism, excitement,
Mm.
technical skill on the saxophone. Everything about him I love, you know.
Oh, favorite swing tune? That's a hard one too. That's impossible. I'll
Uh,
say favorite big band tune and then swing combo tune, maybe.
Yeah, sure. I'd say one of my favorite big band tunes would be Whirlybird by Count Basie,
Okay.
which featured another great sax player, Eddie Lockjaw Davis. A favorite swing tune? Well, you know what? I tell you what, I could easily answer that. Saturday Night Fish Fry by Louis Jordan. Ever been down to New Orleans? You can understand just what I mean. That'd be my favorite swing tune.
Oh,
'Cause
great.
it's so funny and it's very cleverly written, and it's a great jump tune. You know.
Are you guys playing that here?
No. But you know what? I don't do it too much, and also for the Italian people, it's too many lyrics in English, so people would miss it. You know, it would miss the point of the song. It's about a party that goes completely wrong. These 2 guys turn up, and the chorus after chorus after chorus, it gets worse and worse and worse, and they end up in a police van. You know, being taken to jail.
It's kind of like well, the other night you did Mac the Knife, and I
Yeah.
was like, this is a story. I mean that song is, I love that tune.
Yeah, we
But
don't
for
play it
non-English
much.
speaker, it'd be like, what is this?
Yeah, what is this? Yeah, well, the thing is the feeling of where it goes up in the changes key all the time. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's not one I play so much in Italy. But the other day I felt like playing it. You know.
That's a great one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think you did that one last year.
No, we might do that tonight actually because it's a nice. But you know what? That's an international tune that everybody will know the melody. Da 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 da.
Yes.
Everybody knows that.
Yes. When you're not playing music or practicing, what are you doing in your free time?
Well, I got 2 kids. They're nearly boy's 19 and the girl's 16. And my boy's independent. He's gone off to university. I spend time with my daughter. I like to spend time with her, and she started singing, so we practice together, and that gives me a lot of pleasure. Although she's got no boundaries with time. If I'm watching TV 11 o'clock at night and I'm literally chilling, Dad, can we run some songs? I said, Dad's tired, but I'll do it, you know, spoil her a bit. But you know what? Really, I like to cook. I love to cook, and I like to hang out with my friends and family, and I'd like to smoke a Havana cigar. That's about it. Very simple.
There you go. Cheers to Havana cigars. Are they legal in the UK?
Yeah.
In
Yeah,
the
yeah,
US,
yeah.
I don't think they are.
No, but people still smoke them, of
Well, of
course. But
course.
you can't. Since COVID, you can't get them, or you can get them, but they're an absolute fortune. So I got a few sources online where I can get them and that sort of thing. So yeah, I really enjoy that very much.
Great.
It
So
helps the voice.
yeah, the Nat King Cole style. You do have a great voice. I mean,
Really, thank you so much.
and I mean, really, if you guys, everybody should come to Umbria
Yeah.
Jazz in general. But when you do, make sure you see Ray. He plays pretty much every day that you guys come.
Yeah.
And then, what do you have coming up after Umbria Jazz? You got some dates.
Yeah, it's in fact, I'm back for a day, and then we're going out with to San Remo.
Oh.
Believe it or not. So I'm literally back home for a day.
Have you been to Sanremo?
No.
It's beautiful.
No.
It's such a great.
No,
little
it's
town.
one of those things that I think, why did I put this in? I want to rest after this. But you know what? I believe that work is tough for everybody at the moment. And a 7-piece band, as I was telling you, Anthony, it's very hard. So we take the work when it's in. So if it's back to back, it's back to back. August is pretty quiet. We've got a few festivals in the UK and that sort of thing. Then Christmas time, the main thing Ronnie Scott's coming up, which is the best jazz club, and we usually do our Christmas season there. So
Okay.
that'll be good. So yeah, we always keep busy,
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Great to hear. Well, Ray, thank you so much.
Thanks so much, mate.
This has
Thank
been
you.
great.
Yeah,
Looking forward
thanks.
to seeing you again this
Yeah,
week.
I look